Hello everyone and welcome back to Timberborn. This is episode 25 on the road to 1000 beavers. Starting off today's episode, the sun is setting, it is pink in the background, and there has been a recent update. It's been a minor one, but they changed the visual graphics for the levees and also for the dams. So if we zoom in a little bit over here, we can see the new dam looks a little bit different, but the levees is what catches my eye. Our mega reservoir looks completely different. Now it's not the tan color, it's more of a darker brown. And then same for our other reservoir over here. In the last episode we focused on some of the original colonies, but today I'm hoping that we can expand this 5th district. And one of you guys left a recent comment on what we should name this district. And Flattail Hill is the one that I like the most. It seems pretty fitting for this district, so I'm going to rename it to Flattail Hill. And then for our 4th district, we're going to go with Toothton. And at this point, we have 5 districts. They are all named now. And we are at 618 beavers. Our population is going up quite a bit. We only have 8 free beds, so we need to add a few more, probably in some of these districts that we just renamed, since they are some of the smaller ones. And it looks like their well-being is actually doing pretty good. We're at 46 for these guys. Overall, we're at 49. So I guess we could probably focus on them a little bit, since they are below average, and if we go to some of the other districts, they have a significantly higher well-being. And a few easy ones are some aesthetics, and then also I saw wet fur was not being fulfilled, and then we can get a few fun items for them as well. And we have a bad tide that has just started. As you can see, the bad water is coming through here. We have these sluices set to close below a certain contamination, and these other ones are closed above a certain contamination. We have some space down here, so if we add in these stairs, then we can give them access to either some showers or some of the lidos. Ideally, I want to do the lidos since it fulfills multiple slots for the beaver's well-being, but we just need to add in a few platforms, and then we can also add in a few showers to fill in some of the gaps. And then we can also add in a couple houses, and then maybe we'll throw a roof on them as well. And then back in Flattail Hill, you can see that we actually finished constructing this wall of dirt blocks. We do have a couple of these dams here. That way we wouldn't have any flooding going on, or at least we shouldn't have any flooding. But then again, with these dam pieces, you never know. We do have quite a few unemployed beavers in this district. Maybe we should look at getting some hauling posts set up. I don't actually know if we have any in this district at all. We also can chop these trees down, so we can add a couple lumberjack flags and then make sure everything is marked. And then we can add a couple hauling posts down here as well. Make sure we bump that all the way up to 10 for these. And then we can set one of them to lowest priority, even though I don't think we're going to have an issue with employing beavers over here. And it seems like wet fur is a common theme that we're missing in these districts. Thankfully, we do have a spot up here that we can utilize. We can at least get one shower. I think this other one is actually underneath the zip line. And then we can also add in some lidos down here. I think that we should be able to fit them right along here. And we can get a few of those placed down, and then we're going to actually connect them into this path right here. Although it is offset by one tile, and we're going to change that. That way they can go directly down here. And then we can remove these paths and this set of stairs once they construct this. The beavers in this district have a good amount of planks, which means that we can get this second monument constructed. And right here seems to be the perfect spot. We'll just need to add in a few platforms. So I just selected all these stumps to be removed, and they just instantly removed them. The beavers did not have to go to clear them out. I'm going to see if there's any more we can show you. If we take a look at some of these trees over here, these small ones, they just immediately disappear when I mark those to be removed. The larger ones still require a beaver to come and get them. So if we just mark every single one of these to be removed, we got all the small ones, and then we can undo that. So now all the big trees are left, and those little stumps are no longer there. And then they also added in rubble disintegrating. So I don't know if you noticed, but it said rubble disintegrates in 15 days. And I bet that we can go and find that somewhere else. So we could do something like this. We have the stairs. We don't need these because we have the zip lines. And now, if we take a look underwater, it says that, oh, they just grabbed it. Well, it said it was going to disintegrate in 15 days. They just came and grabbed it super quick. So we can do the same over here as well. So there's 15 days before the planks and the logs disintegrate. And the beavers are very timely in getting all those picked up. Now for Flattail Hill, we don't really have a whole lot going on. You can see all the builders are sitting, and then also these haulers are not doing anything. And I want to do something a little bit bigger for these guys. So we're going to make them their own reservoir, but this one is going to be requiring a bit of power to have it work. And we're actually going to utilize the mechanical fluid pump. These require a bit of resources and some power for them to work, but I want to have basically some reservoirs that go up a few tiers. And so to get that started, I'm going to level out this area a little bit, basically build up some dirt blocks so we can get all the way to the edge of this, and then we'll have a water source that we can start pulling from. We will also need to think about the power. Ideally, I want to use a little bit of everything. We have some windmills that we can utilize, and then I want to use some water wheels, probably over here. We can get started with some of these dirt blocks. Originally, I was just going to have the water pump it up into here, but I'm not really liking that idea. I think I want to add in some overhangs, maybe via the dirt blocks themselves. And I'm liking the look of this design a little bit more. We can have the mechanical fluid pump right here. We'll have a little bit of an inlet, and then we can have a small pool. Then we can continue to get the water pumped up. I might pump it up in this direction to the side so we can remove a few more dirt blocks. And unfortunately, we have a really small dirt pile in this district, so we need to add some more storage. Otherwise, it's going to take forever for the beavers to get all this constructed. We can also change this so we have the path go right along here, and then we can utilize the beavers in the district of Bavaria and basically have a parallel path. That way they can reach those as well. And then get a couple of storages and then make sure that they are both set to dirt and prioritized by haulers. And then copy the settings to this one. And then we can start to get a wall constructed over here. And then we can also maybe start putting some dirt blocks over here and then build some sort of like earthen dam on this side instead of having wood go all the way around. And in this whole process, I'm hoping that we don't have any beavers get stuck. They are notorious for trapping themselves, so we'll just have to keep an eye on all this in the meantime. Overall, we have over 3,000 dirt, so we are going to have plenty to go around. It'll mainly be about if we have enough beaver power to get it finished. Since we're utilizing the beavers from the district of Bavaria, I think that should help out a bit with at least part of this. The beavers in Flattail Hill have a little bit of a disadvantage when it comes to beaver power, but we can also change that by adding in some more houses. Since we only have 45 beds at the moment and they're all occupied, so we'll just need to set up some more probably over here and make sure we high prioritize it. Otherwise it's going to take forever for them to construct everything over here. So we can add in 3 more houses right here, and then with the addition of these 3 houses, we should probably get a few more builders huts, since we know we can pull from some of these hauling posts because this one is the lowest priority and it doesn't even look like they're doing anything at the moment. So we can put down 2 more of these builders huts, make sure those are super high priority, and then those guys should go from sitting around to these jobs, and then help everything go a bit faster. And with this area becoming more of a hub for the work, we do want to make sure that we have access to this area. We could make a simple path that goes down here. We could also utilize the zipline station as well. And it does look like we do have a stranded beaver. He's getting moved out of the way. But if we set up these stairs, then he should be able to get out of here no problem. And then they're not going to be able to reach any of this up here. So if we get some stairs constructed, that should solve that problem. And as they continue to work on the infrastructure for the dam itself, or the reservoir I should say, we also need to think about getting power over to this mechanical fluid pump. Something pretty easy that we could do is get a windmill set up. The windmill is not going to be able to provide consistent power, unfortunately. Even if we got a gravity battery hooked up, I don't think we can provide enough because this one produces 300 and then this one requires 700. But this could get a start in getting some water up in here. We will also need to continue to build up over in this direction. And realistically, we should probably get some either overhangs or platforms set up. I am leaning towards some overhangs. So we can start with the 6-1 over here. And then we can do a couple floors as well. And then we'll basically just continue around the edge. There's probably a certain height when it does become more efficient to utilize the overhangs rather than utilizing platforms. But we are at a point where we don't really need to worry about resources overall, since we have over 7,000 planks, 11,000 logs, and then almost 5,000 metal blocks. But if we were a little bit earlier in the stages of this game, then we would probably be evaluating it a little bit closer. It looks like we're actually just about out of water over here, and the water is slowing down over here as well. But we have the water that is returning, so that should help us out. We have a lot of it going over here actually. We have these set to the same height as this one right here, and the water is filling all this back up. So hopefully we can have these Lidos back up and running pretty soon. And then we can also have the water return in this direction. And then eventually it'll flow out of these floodgates and then fill this back up. Well, we have a pretty big area that we're trying to irrigate. And as you can see, we are almost at the end of day 3. And at this point, water is just now getting here because the water just has to travel so far all the way around the helix, and even if it bypasses, it just takes a while to fill everything back up. We also have this sluice set to automatically close if the downstream depth becomes a certain elevation. Before we had it completely closed, and the water in here was fantastic. We were not running out at all. But I think that we would probably need a little bit bigger of an area in terms of this reservoir, since we have quite a bit of surface area to service, because that feeds all the way to basically this whole crop system. And then it also feeds into our water pumpers over here. And then a third area is these lidos, and I guess we have another large water pumper as well. So it may be worth expanding this. We could once again utilize overhangs, maybe have something go out this direction, because in this district I think we actually have a lot of beavers. Let's see, we have a bunch of builders huts over here. Only one of them is set to bots at the moment. So if we get these overhangs set up, and then I have a path underneath here, so that should be able to get us all the way across, and they should be able to reach all of this stuff. So we'll start with them working on this, and then I think I want to have them get access to this from up top, and we can basically start laying levees all the way around the perimeter. We still need to make sure that we have the impermeable flooring set for the bottom, because otherwise all that water is just going to flow out. And then once they actually finish all this, what I plan to do is remove one of these levees, and then I think we'll have a sluice at this level pointing out from here, so it'll point into the main reservoir. That way water will go out through it, but it won't come in. And then at the very top we can have maybe a couple of these that are set to dams. That way we take advantage of the fact that we have a smaller surface area while this is filling up. Evaporation won't impact it as much. And then once we've gone to the very top, we'll have the extra water spill into here. So that should be ever so slightly more efficient. And then back in Flattail Hill, you can see that this windmill is powering this just enough so we get a little bit of water in here. And then the beavers are making good progress getting the levees placed down, but it seems that they can't reach everything now that we don't have the path extended far enough. We should probably also switch it so that it's actually from Flattail Hill, because right now this is all being constructed from the Beavers of Bavaria, since you can see so many beavers are walking over here now. But now that we have all those constructed, we can just remove one of these paths and then connect in the beavers that are much closer. And I did make one crucial mistake. Let me know if you guys spotted it. But if I want to have that mechanical fluid pump right up here, it needs to have an area to outlet, and it will not be able to pump the water onto this platform. So I'll need to either shift this over or put down some platforms instead of the overhang. I'm leaning towards shifting it, and we'll see if the beavers can actually construct this. I think they changed it at some point in the last year. I think they changed it so that as long as the beavers can reach one part of this, that they can actually construct it. And it looks like that is the case. I know with bridges it used to be you had to be near the base in order to construct it. This will make it way easier to construct now. And this mechanical fluid pump will reach, which is fortunate. And now the mechanical fluid pump will reach, so that is fantastic. And then if we take a step back and look at the beavers in the district of Flattail Hill, you can see we have 22 children at the moment and only 8 unoccupied jobs, which means we need to get ready for a bunch of babies growing up, and we're definitely going to do that with the builders' huts. And then we can fill in this one gap right here. Soon they should be making their way all the way across, and then they can reach the rest of these levees. We'll have to figure out where I want to actually end this, because if we want to keep going up, then we'll have to figure out exactly how that's going to happen. It'd be kind of cool to make it over top the zip line. I think we need to have an additional level before we could do that, although I guess we don't necessarily need to. That would require going basically at an angle. It'd be a little bit unorthodox, but that would be interesting. We will need to start by removing these trees so we can get a couple staircases set up here, make sure that they can get all the way, and then add in a lumberjack flag. And then this one does not actually get power at the moment. This pool right here is filled up, or I guess it's just about filled up, so I suspect that this is going to be turning off any second now. If we get some vertical power shafts set up, I'm not going to fully connect it. If we get this set up and then connect this last one in after it goes over here, then we'll be able to start pumping water, albeit very slowly, but we can get the water pumped into this area, but we don't need to do that yet because we want to actually close everything off. We'll also want to get some more power into the system. We have one large windmill, which is clearly not enough, but we could do a few things. I think we'll probably add a few more windmills along here, and then maybe install some gravity batteries as well, assuming we have enough windmills to basically overpower both of these. And then the extra power can go to recharging those gravity batteries. And then clearly there's water going through here, so we could maybe put a few levees on either side, narrow the channel a little bit, and then get some of these water wheels set up. And then we can have a few sets of those and then have that tie in to this system as well. And the more I think about it, the more that I do like the idea of having a wall of dirt right here and then overhanging over top the zip line. We could even have it come down on this side, basically having a tunnel that these guys go underneath. But all of that must wait until the next episode because we have run out of time today. We do have a good start on the projects for this district. Flattail Hill is going to become a very interesting colony very soon. Our beaver population continues to climb. We're at 655 beavers at the moment, and if we continue to grow at this rate, we will be at 700 very shortly. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you did, please hit that like button. It really does mean a lot to me and it helps the channel out tremendously. And with that, we will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.